Good evening, race fans. Welcome here to the Daytona International Speedway for tonight's Daytona 200. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight, as always, is Chris Wright, and joining us as well tonight is Matthew Weeks. Guys, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to have Matthew with us tonight. Matthew will be one of the racers in the 500 tomorrow, one of the accomplished racers here in the Elite Series. I believe Matthew last year's champion, correct?
Yeah, man. It was crazy.
Absolutely. Obviously, winning a title in the Cup Series is a big feat, and getting started strong at Daytona always important. So tomorrow night's Daytona 500 definitely one to watch. But looking here tonight at our Daytona 200, 77 degrees is the ambient temperature, 57% relative humidity, partly cloudy with 2-mile-per-hour wind as usual. We're racing here in the sunset, so track temperature a little bit lower than normal at just 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight's race format, folks, is 80 laps, no stages, and 3 sets of tires, so 1 on the car and 2 in the pits. Qualifying has just wrapped up. Let's take a look at who is our pole sitter here tonight, and take a look at that. It's Michael Hosick on the front row alongside William White, so 2 foreign drivers leading us to the green. Justin Fuller and Trey Eidson in row number 2. Brandon Ultra, Jacob Adams there in row number 3. Daniel Martinez, winner Sunday night. Daniel Martinez won in the Truck Series. Jamie Haley there in row number 4 as well. Trey Holmes and Colin Culpa round out the top 10. Chris, why don't you take us through to position number 20?
Yeah, starting in 11th, we have Leighton Norgard. Beside him, Michael Goodman, followed by Connor Thompson, Wyatt Canadle, Jay Canor, Kendall Player, Andrew Hardcastle, Mark Murphy, Corey Habit, and Hunter Smith rounding out the top 20.
That's the top 20, Matthew. Why don't you take us through to position number 30 here on the starting grid?
Number 30, see, we got Wayne. Oh, wait.
From position 21 to 30.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. We got Tyler Skardeski, 21st. We got David Dunn Woody, 22nd. Mark Rebelis, 23rd. Garrett Sidnor, 24th. Jaden, what was it?
Racimus,
that's right. I always get his name mixed up. 25th. Gavin Higgins, 27th. Randy Nadel, 27th. I'm sorry. Gavin Higgins, 27th. Brent Johnson, 28th. Michael Klein, 29th. And Wayne Swartz, 30th.
Cash James, position 31 alongside Harrison Talon in 32nd. Cam Barnes, 33rd. Patrick O'Toole, 34th. And Joshua Osborne rounds out our 35-car field. Tonight is the biggest field of the season that we've had here in the PitPassNetwork.com ARCA series. So it should be a great show here tonight, as you do see the field heading down the back straightaway, heading towards turn 3, and eventually that green flag to get us underway. Just taking a look through the field. A couple new faces here with us tonight, which we'll have to keep an eye on throughout the evening. Up towards the front, Justin Fuller, a newcomer to the league. Daniel Martinez, newcomer to the ARCA series. Jamie Haley has been around for a little bit now, just a little bit further back. Connor Thompson as well. Kendall Noah Player just making his second start in the series. Tyler Skordensky with his second as well. And a little further back from them, Brant Johnson, his debut. Michael Klein, his debut. Wayne Swart as well as Patrick O'Toole and Joshua Osborne as the pace car takes the turn onto pit road. We're getting set to go green here. Let's hand it down to Barney the flagman. He's got the green flag in hand, and the green flag is in the air. We're underway with Michael Hosick and William White leading us here to the green flag and down the front straightaway.
Great start for the bottom here. Looks like they're going to be a little bit tighter, a little bit more well formed up. We got Michael almost clear. He's going to pull back up here on his outside. As I say that, as William White's got help from Trey Eidson on the top. It's Justin Fuller pushing Michael on the bottom. Not sure how much Chad Wide we'll see tonight either. We've seen a lot of Chad Wide through the week, but I just don't know if in these ARCA cars that very top lane is going to be able to give us any of that.
Well, the one thing about this ARCA car that we have to keep an eye on is you don't really have the great ability to push as you do in the Grand National car, the Cup car, and the truck. Because if you can take a look here, let's see if we can get a good shot of one of these front bumpers. We'll go rear chase here on William White. You can see it kind of works like a wedge. So if he gets up behind somebody, he's going to get under them and turn into a bit of a ramp truck. So that could definitely throw things really up in the air.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Matthew,
man.
I'm not sure how much time you spent in these cars. I know the series came along well after you were already moved on to the Cup Series. I don't know if you've ever been eligible to run in the ARCA Series, but how much time have you spent in this car or the Gen 4, same body, and how hard it is to kind of judge that before there is contact, and a little bit of contact usually causes a wreck.
To be honest, Robert got me. Our Robert here got me into a league I race every Friday where I just ran these ARCA cars, and now we run the Gen 4. These cars, it's hard at these plate tracks, man. If you're gonna push them, you gotta ease up to that back bumper and push them. You don't want to hit them too hard. You just gotta hit them just right, just to. But these cars, it's hard. It's really hard to get these cars going. I've always found out these cars are harder. As we got a caution right now.
We're under caution here. Brant Johnson goes around. We did already have an incident just a little bit earlier. Harrison Talon hard into the outside wall and the inside wall, which did not bring out a yellow. But let's take a look here to see what happened with the 76 of Brant Johnson to bring out caution flag number 1. You can see the 76 City Chevrolet machine up on the high side, just ahead of the Jaden Racimus number 19 Razor car. Let's see if those two come together. Yeah, a little bit of contact into the left rear of Brant Johnson. Sends Johnson around after contact with Racimus. That sends Johnson down the track. Nice avoidance by Cash James, but I believe Patrick O'Toole just absolutely barreled into the side of Brant Johnson, and that will likely bring an end to both Johnson and O'Toole's evenings here tonight.
And that wreck was exactly what we talked about. That they kind of checked up in that line. They're trying to give each other some extra space. And that 76 checked up. The 19 wasn't ready for it. Don't know why you wouldn't be ready for it being this far back in the pack, but he just got slightly into that back end of that 76, and once the contact was made, it was over.
Yep, and once you hit these, just hard like that, you just lift that rear end up, and once you lift that rear end up, man, the car's going around.
That's exactly it. Like I mentioned, it's kind of like a ramp truck. If you get the wedge of the nose underneath the rear end of one of these ARCA cars, it can definitely just send them up in the air or fully around. As we've seen before, drivers just driving under the car ahead of them and literally just sending the car up in the air and back behind you. So very interesting there. As we see an update from our race controller, Jonathan Cutlip, contact between the 19 of Jaden Racimus and the 76 of Brant Johnson. The 19 of Racimus has been issued a tally. As we do see Justin Fuller, our race leader, coming down pit road. He's joined by Trey Einson, Leighton Norgard, Connor Thompson, Mark Murphy, Andrew Hardcastle, Hunter Smith, David Dunwoody, Mark Rabillis, Kendall Noah Player, Garrett Sidnor, Corey Abbott, and others. As a lot more guys pit than I thought there.
Yeah, this must have opened up a fuel window or something for these boys right here. I'm guessing. I'm not sure if they can do it on one stop or if you can now pitting here. Will be interesting to see how it breaks down here as we get further into the event.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see here.
Go ahead, Robert.
It's going to be interesting to see here what actually does happen when it comes to the strategy. Some of these guys may be able to stretch it a little bit further now that they've come down pit road here on lap number 5, maybe make it to the halfway point, and then be able to maybe split that second portion of today's race.
Yeah, when I sat in the car on pit road, because I just wanted to see the fuel number, it said 47 laps, so take a couple laps out of that if they went green. I'll say maybe 43 laps, so they could have done one stop if it was the green, but I would like those guys did, I would like to fill it up, fuel, and put that spoiler down in the ground, just get a little more aero with and a little more speed.
Yeah, and one thing in these cars, I'm not sure if it is too big of a factor or not. In the next gen car that we run tomorrow night for our 500, if you can take less fuel, that's time saved on a pit stop. So I'm not sure how much of that is playing into this and how much time you'll really save with 4 or 5 laps of fuel. But in the next gen car, that would be about a second or two. So could be going from maybe mid-pack to the front of the pack, which might be a big deal.
Most definitely. And the only bad thing about it is with these cars, it's so hard to pass at these plate tracks. It's just so hard. You get side by side and the lines are even. So it's going to be hard for them to get back up there. I would have kept track position.
Absolutely. And one thing I just noticed here, we did not make race picks here tonight. So why don't we go ahead and do that? We've lost two drivers so far, Patrick O'Toole and Harrison Talon. But why don't we go ahead and start with Matthew Weeks, our guest here tonight. Matthew, who do you got?
Oh, man. I'm going to pick Michael Daniel Martinez. Or to me, when I come to this track, I don't care about points or nothing. Just like tomorrow, I'm there for one thing only, just to win the race. That's it. You want to win at Daytona.
And one thing here too, we got, looking at the schedule, we've got Daytona, and then we raced Dega in I think 3 races or 4 races, but they're going to be 2 totally different races. As tonight we're in the Gen 4, or excuse me, the ARCA package. Oh, we've got contact to 33. He's going to get on the apron. He's going to make the save. He's still kind of toying with the apron here. Looks like we are going to survive. But when we go to Dega here in about a month, they'll be in the Gen 4 package. A lot more horsepower. I would imagine we'll be able to use that 3rd lane, as we've got a car up in the wall right now, the 55 car. Just went down into turn 3 and hit the wall a little bit. What is that, Mountain Dew Black that he's sponsored by tonight?
What it looks like. And going back to Dega, I ran ARCA at Dega a couple weeks ago, and it was 3 wide, man. It's just the Gen 4 car is an awesome car to drive, and I think it makes even the plate racing better.
Yeah, and through all this, we've had a new leader. Jacob Adams has taken the lead. He pushed, I'm guessing here, he pushed William White to the lead, then Jamie Haley pushed Jacob to the lead, and now Jamie is getting pushed by Daniel Martinez there on that outside lane.
All right, so we are fixed here. We had a quick issue. I do have to change my hotkeys here, Chris, because do you remember a couple weeks ago we were broadcasting the Elite race and accidentally turned the stream off, saying hello to Zach Evans?
That was ARCA, right? Was the ARCA race?
That was ARCA, yeah. So I was typing Martinez for Matthew's race pick tonight, and I forgot that my Z key is my hotkey to end the stream. So we're back live, folks. Hello, and welcome to the Elite Racing Network. It is Jacob Adams, Jamie Haley, William White, Dana Martinez, and Michael Hosick out front on lap number 12.
I didn't think Adams was going to get to the lead. I know on that restart he was able to get a good push down the back, and he cleared William, but he didn't drop down. He decided, I don't know who drives that 02 car, but he decided to stay with him and fall back in line with Jamie Haley. And then that just ended up getting him back to the lead, just pushing him, and then the conveyor belt started working. So now he's up there.
Yeah, Jamie Haley, Jacob Adams, they're really good friends of mine as well. So Jamie's new to Elite. He's new to the series this year, and he's been running the ARCA series, so I think that's why Jake stayed up there. I think he's basically teammates with Jake there, and he might not have Mountain Man logos on that O2, but I think he's basically under the Mountain Man umbrella here tonight.
Sure.
All right.
I still haven't met Jamie Haley, but welcome to Mountain Man, Jamie.
Dan put himself in a good position. He come out of nowhere and got on the outside. Now he's pushing Jamie, and he's probably going to push him to the lead, and he'll be the lead car on the outside soon.
Yeah, you can see Dana Martinez up on the high side there, Colin Culpa and Michael Goodman behind him. Seeing Trey Holmes down there. He's channeling his inner intimidator down there in position number 9. Good to see Trey here tonight. Dan as well. Both drivers with lots of experience up in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series. Should be contenders tomorrow night in the Daytona 500. So definitely one to tune in for and check that out. As we'll take a look a little bit further back. Some battling here all throughout the field. Somebody just dove down to the inside. They got back in line.
Yeah, and one more thing here on Jamie Haley. He ran the Xfinity race last night. He was a late entry. And you might remember that Bang Energy car out there, Matthew, last night. He spent a lot of time up there at the front, led some laps, so maybe some guys seen that, and he's got a little more help tonight because they know he's not completely new.
Oh, yeah, I definitely noticed it last night, too, in the race, because before I got killed, I seen him, and I was working the line because he was holding a steady line. I was like 2 cars behind him. We were just rolling nice and good. He can drive.
And it looks like Michael Goodman's going to shuffle out the 55 here to the top. Goes through the middle.
I think the 55 just got a run and sent it 3 wide. I think he's going for it.
Yeah, Justin Fuller, of course, did come down pit road last caution. Not really going to make a huge difference when it comes to tires and whatnot, but Fuller was running up towards the front. Now doesn't really have too much help there on the outer lane. He's going to try to pull the draft. He's getting that draft from Martinez, which is helping him a little bit. If you can get just a little bit from that car ahead, you still have a good draft to be able to work your way up. And here he comes. He's on the outside. Adams down on the inside. Martinez in the middle. It's Fuller up top. The leader is Jamie Haley, but this is going to get hairy. William White now takes that bottom lane spot as Jacob Adams clears out to the race lead, and he's clear. If he wants to jump high, he can definitely do so.
Yeah, and here we go. We're going to try to get this third lane rolling.
Dude,
that 55's done it by himself for a full lap and a half, and that's no easy feat.
Oh yeah, if he had one more car, 2 more cars, I bet he could have probably got to the very front right there and been 3 wide with the leaders.
Absolutely, as Fuller did lose that lead draft, so he's opted to come back down into the lane behind Culpa, ahead of Goodman and Barnes. Barnes, of course, last time we saw him, he was getting destroyed by Harrison Talon. Or actually not Harrison Talon, Jess Story. So nice to see Cam Barnes back with us here tonight.
And it's been very cordial up here at the front. Lots of easy pushes, smooth pushes, nothing too crazy. Haven't really seen anybody get out of shape. It appears to be a bunch of guys who know what they're doing for the most part. Taking care of each other. Everybody's taking care of the rookie there in the O2. Daniel Martinez knows the ropes. Jacob Adams knows the ropes. William White, this is his second season in ARCA. All these guys know what it takes at these super speedways, and they're learning if they want to work with that O2 later and seeing how he handles a push.
Well, I think the big thing here, Chris, is you have to remember this ARCA series is sort of a developmental series here in the Elite Racing League, an opportunity for guys to learn and grow and prepare themselves for the higher ranks of Elite. So when we have these guys drop down from the upper ranks, such as Martinez and Holmes and Goodman and whatnot, it's an opportunity for these guys to learn from some of the veterans here in Elite. And they know that these guys are out here learning, and they show them a bit of extra respect and patience that you may not see in the JoinAPS.com Cup Series.
Yeah, but here's what I know about Daniel Martinez, Jacob Adams. If they make the decision that, hey, this guy can't be trusted or this guy can't hold a lane, whatever,
100%.
You're going to spit him out. You're not going to wait
100%.
around. Matthew, I'm sure you can speak to that too. If somebody is doing something that you're like, man, that's kind of dumb, or that's, he's not doing a good job, you're spitting him out as fast as you can.
Yep. And if you're around people in your Discord or teammates, you're sitting there, hey, man, we got to leave this guy out. It's not working. He's slowing us down. You're trying to get rid of that guy.
And I'm sure you're going to see that tomorrow night. I mean, most of us will be involved in that at some point as well, having to leave somebody out that maybe isn't benefiting your lane or your run as well as you'd want. And that definitely does come into play a lot here on these super speedways, especially when it is such a big race such as Daytona. You want to be up front as much as you can, as Fuller's back up on the high side.
And he's got help. He's got the German engineering of Michael Goodman coming up behind him here to help him on the top side.
They just can't get that extra car to give them the bump that they need to get up there. Goodman ditches the Fuller machine. Now he's going to jump back up, gets back in line after what he thought would have been a nice attempt, but now back into the lane as Cam Barnes pushes up a little bit, nearly into the side of Justin Fuller. Fuller almost grabs the outside wall. That could have been a little bit hairy back there in the middle portion of this top 10.
To get that third lane working, you're going to have to back off a little bit. You got to build a run with the ARCA car, and you got to have someone go with you when you jump, because you got to take that run all the way to the front. It's just so hard to get by guys in the ARCA car.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely not the easiest car to make those runs in. Like you mentioned, you have to build up the momentum before you opt to do it, and if you haven't taken the time to do that, it's not going to work.
See, I know he's working the outside by himself, but mainly he's only gaining those positions because those guys got to check up so they don't hit the guy in front of him. So that's what's keeping him up there. But so if he was to get to the leader just staying like that, he would stall right there because the leader's flat out. So
Yeah, the big benefit that Fuller has is you see the Daniel Martinez machine. He keeps sliding up just a little bit through the corners, try to get a little bit of air on his nose, keep him cool, and not run into the back of Jamie Haley. Again, you can't really push in these ARCA cars, so this is giving Justin Fuller an opportunity to grab a bit of draft. As we watch from his nose cam here, he is grabbing draft from Colin Culpa, the 06 machine, which is helping him get that momentum, but as soon as Culpa gets back in line, all momentum is lost.
Now, this is the third time I've seen the O2 get clear of that inside line, and he has chosen to stay up top every time.
I think he's comfortable working with Daniel Martinez, but at the same time, working with Jacob Adams, they may have opted to control both lanes.
Yeah, and I said it last night when Lake Norman did it. I'll say it again tonight. I'm not a fan of that. But as long as you're not checking up the lanes, I think it's okay. If they're both just sitting there running wide open, that's one thing I felt like last night. Maybe some checking up was going on. And I understand everybody does it, and it's part of it. It's not just a Lake Norman thing. But I, as a driver, would not be willing to do that. I just don't like to drag the brake and keep everybody side by side. But I do know Daniel Martinez wants to get to the lead. And so you see him now looking to the right. He's saying, look, you got clear again. This is the fourth time. Go ahead and pull down this time. Daniel made that decision for him.
Exactly, and that's how you do it. If they're not going to drop down, and then while they're clear, you go to their outside and make them drop down.
Absolutely. Sometimes you have to take control and dictate what's going to happen out here on the racetrack.
Like Trey with a big run on the outside. He took a run and he gained 3 or 4 spots on that third lane. If he had just another car with that run, he probably could have got up there where Dan was.
Yeah, if someone like Jay Kaner opted to go with Trey Holmes, they could probably get up there and be even with the leaders, but nobody opted to go there. So Trey Holmes, once again, just like Justin Fuller, out here in nowhere land. Actually, he's going to pick up the Colin Culpa draft. This may benefit Trey a little bit more than it did Fuller if someone like Goodman opts to slide up here and give him a little bit of a push.
Oh, Jamie Haley pulls back to the top.
Oh, Dan Martinez in the wall.
Dan did not like that, tried to get to his outside, and the wall was out there to catch him.
Martinez in the wall. That, unfortunately, does push Trey Holmes back, too. Nowhere to go.
And that's the one thing I hate about these cars, man. You barely touch the wall, you're stuck in that wall. And it's hard. If you lift and try to get out, sometimes that car just shoots to the left, so it's a sticky situation here when you get stuck in the wall.
Yeah, and I think that was just Dan not wanting to push the O2. I don't think they were that close when the O2 pulled up. And then Dan decided he was going to try to go a little further right, and the right rear just caught the wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wanted to lead the outside. He didn't want him to hop up. But that was a good move on Jamie. That was a good move to get outside. Because, to be honest, if you're in a team car, you want to have control of both lanes.
Absolutely. And just taking a look a little bit further back, obviously, Daniel Martinez got into the outside wall. Now he's around some friends here. Wyatt Canadle just ahead of him, Trey Holmes just behind. So if they do want to make a run, they could look to the high side and gain a bit of momentum and work their way all the way up to the front. But I think right now they're comfortable getting in line and riding just for a few laps here. We're not at halfway yet. 26 down, 55 to go. So lots of time left in tonight's event.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, it's Dan again up into the fence. And he's back into the fence.
They went to make that move. Wyatt went to make the move 3 wide, and Kaner kind of blocked it a little bit so they couldn't go 3 wide on entry, and it caused the checkup, and Dan just got the wall again. But these cars are tanks. He still has some guys he can work with and still stay in the draft. He'll be back up there.
Yeah, Dan Martinez falling back. He's got Hunter Smith and Connor Thompson ahead of him, and he has a pack of cars coming up behind him. Mark Murphy, Cash James, Trey Eidson amongst those drivers. A good 7 or 8 cars behind, so definitely not out of it yet for Daniel Martinez. And we are going to be coming up to pit stops, I think, fairly shortly here as we're approaching lap number 30. So you definitely want to have some good company around you when it comes time to pitting.
Yeah, and as we saw last night, you're never out of it. But I will say this, I think we've already had more green flag laps tonight than we did last night.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
But as I've known all the seasons I've been in Elite, the Grand National race on Monday night, every time the first race is always bad.
Last
it's
night
just-
was something else, man.
Oh
Just
yeah.
never got to a green flag stop. Never got to a long run. I think the longest run might have been 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the cleanest race, that's for sure.
I was just sad I never really got a chance to race last night. I got killed, I think, that first or second wreck, and I was fighting.
Oh,
there's
here's
a
a
wreck
wreck.
in the back.
It's Trey Eidson.
Trey
A Leighton
Eidson
Norgard.
involved. Kendall Noah, player Leighton Norgard involved in that one. We are under caution for the second time tonight.
Hunter
Let's take a
Smith is
look
in
and
this
see
as
what
well.
just happened.
I'm surprised to see a wreck back there. These guys were riding in the back, waiting on the big wreck to happen up front.
Ooh, I think Hunter just kind of drives into the back of him. I don't see any big
Yep.
lift out of the 91.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hunter Smith gets into the right rear of Trey Eidson. I think Smith's going to be the lucky one to get through this, but Kendall Noah, player, and a Leighton Norgard both picking up a good piece of damage. Trey Eidson might be okay as well in that one. He was kind of sent down the track after that one, but caution number 2 here on lap 29, and I do expect everyone to come down pit road.
I don't
What
know.
I've learned with these cars, that if you still have full power, you fix them up, you can still go out there and race. These are like the next gen. They're tanks.
Absolutely.
I don't know if everybody pits or not. We're not in a fuel window to make it to the end. We're about 10 laps outside of that window or so. So do you choose to stay out and just pit a little earlier? Because I think, 3-4 cars by themselves can be just as fast as the pack.
Yeah, but if you pit now, you're going to have to take less fuel later. If you pit lap 40, you're going to be on pit road longer under green. So I think your opportunity now is go ahead and fill it up and then short stop it later.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, Matthew. I think come down, get my tires now, fill it up, and then just a splash of fuel, 8 or 10 laps, and
Yep.
be set to go under green.
Let's take a look and see who opts to come down pit road. Here we go, lap 28, incident contact between Hunter Smith and Trey Eidson. Tally to Hunter Smith. Looks like Jacob Adams and company are going to come down pit road, while William White going to be the lone driver to stay out on the racetrack.
And
And
you
that's-
never want to be the only car.
Not at this place, not at these tracks, because if it goes green and you pit by yourself, you might as well just throw in the towel.
Literally the only driver in the field not to come down pit road.
Boys, what happened to Harrison Talon tonight? Did we miss that?
No, we showed it a little bit earlier. Harrison ended up getting into the outside wall, then spun himself down into the inside wall, took a massive hit, destroyed the car there on, I believe it was like lap number 3?
Yeah, I found it here. I just saw that there was a car sitting there with a right front
lap
tire
2.
missing.
Lap
Wow.
2 for Harry.
That's a great looking car. It's a shame that they
Rip the
that he
right
made
front
it.
off.
Yeah, it's a shame that he tears that thing up every week.
Yeah, that thing is sitting flat on the track. There's no right front tire whatsoever on the Harrison Talon machine. We are 30 laps into our 80 lap feature here tonight. We're going to step away for the first time, take a commercial break, pay some bills. We'll be back in about 2 minutes' time here on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere.
Isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Daytona International Speedway. It is the Daytona 200, round number 5 of the Pit Pass Network ARCA series. We're about to go green here. William Wright out front with Jacob Adams on his outside. Wright, the only car that opted not to come down pit road last time. So that's going to be very interesting here.
William White's got like 3 or 4 car length lead heading down here in the turn.
Honestly, that's not an advantage here on these super speedways.
Oh, these boys are going to get a run and go right by him.
He's going to get swallowed up so quickly here that, as you can see, Jacob Adams, Cam Barnes, Jamie Haley all coming up to swallow up this 43. There goes William Wright. He's going to the back.
Yep, in the bottom. Everyone on the bottom has to check him now because he was so slow. Wow, the 88% at 3 wide instead of working with Adams.
And here we go, Chad Wide. 3 rows deep up here at the front.
3 by 3 by 3.
Oh, the black car in the middle moves around just a little bit.
Tyler Skordensky there in the 07. His graphic department, I guess, is on strike. Didn't get any numbers on that machine, but hopefully, eventually. As we see William Wright on the bottom, that is Cam Barnes up top, Skordensky in the middle. Help on the bottom is provided by William Wright. Up top is Wyatt Canadle, and in the middle there is Brandon Ultra.
Oh, we got a big wreck!
Oh, everybody. Oh.
That's
Jacob Adams
a big
is
one.
surfing on top of the 88 machine.
Yeah, Jacob's going to get some bonus points there for stuck. He is stuck on top of the 88 car.
And it was, I believe it was that black car in the middle moving around once
Wow.
again.
He just caught his right rear at the...
Let's take a look on the... Oh, they're still wrecking. Cam Barnes absolutely demolished. He's working his way down to pit lane. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened out here
it's
on the
definitely
racetrack.
on Tyler there. Just came down, got his right rear.
Trying to pull this up here, and it's being just a little finicky
Brandon
on us.
Ultra. Daniel Martinez sneaks through, I think.
He
Mark
got into
Murphy.
Trey Holmes, but he got through. He ran over Trey Holmes, but he got underneath him. That's a good thing with this car. When you get underneath them, sometimes you don't damage that front end a lot.
Taking a look now at the
Oh, he
incident, Tyler Skordensky running in that middle lane. Let's see. Yeah, he unfortunately comes down into Jacob Adams. Sends Adams surfing on top of Cam Barnes and Skordensky. Multiple other cars involved. Kendall Player able to avoid it. Wyatt Canado comes to a stop. Cash James also avoiding that wreck. Garrett Sidnor involved. Trey Holmes comes to a stop. Guys, that was a big wreck out there. And I do believe Jacob Adams will be done for the night. Typically you don't want to go surfing with these cars. And as expected, William Wright coming to pit road. And here's the update from race control. Lap 33, contact between Skordensky and Adam. Skordensky in the 07 is given a tally. So
Yeah, and I heard
that's
some
as expected.
people say something there about side draft, that there's no side draft in these cars. I think when they look at the replay, they'll see that wasn't side draft. That was a guy just really struggling to hold his line there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate.
And they're wrong. There is tiny side draft in these cars. Tiny. I've seen Adams do it on the front stretch to William Wright to take the lead the lap before.
Yeah, definitely not a ton of side draft. Just look at Daniel Martinez's car. His nose is a little bit bent out of shape there. Let's see if we can grab a better look at it.
Oh, yeah, he does have pretty decent nose damage.
Yeah, his nose is sticking up off the ground, so the air getting underneath that machine. That may come into play a little bit later for Martinez.
Leader as well.
Ultra damaged as
He's got
well.
that Sterling Marlin damage there from when Sterling got out and tried to fix it himself.
But Chris, when we stepped away for commercial, you went down and talked with a couple of the drivers. Maybe you jinxed them because both drivers now towards the rear of the field. One of them has no right front tire sitting on pit road. But what'd you learn from
talk about that?
What'd you learn from Jacob Adams and Jamie Haley when you went and had a conversation with them?
We learned that they could not make it on fuel. About 45 was the limit, and this caution is probably going to make it where you can come down here and get fuel. But taking a look here, Brant Johnson stayed out here in 8th. Lots of damage to that machine. So just trying to look at the field to see who's got damage and who doesn't.
Yeah, just kind of looking through. William White's all the way up in 13th. He pits, so he kind of lucked out a little bit there, not having to dive down.
You talk about me jinxing people. Jamie really didn't get any of that. Looking at his cards, pretty clean.
No, I think Jamie opted to come down for a little bit more fuels. Here comes Daniel Martinez. I believe maybe our report helped him a little bit here. No to come down pit road. He's flying down pit road, though.
Yeah, and if I was Brant Johnson, I'd have had somebody listening in too and maybe taken our report and said, let me get down here and fix that, because both those cars have pretty substantial nose damage.
Yeah, Dan Martinez does come to the attention of his pit crew as we see the severely damaged Jacob Adams machine up ahead of him there. Let's see what they can do to fix up the Martinez machine.
I think Jake is waiting outside the care center right now after his little surf down the backstretch.
Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up Jacob Adams for a quick conversation here about what just happened out on the racetrack.
All right, we are now joined by Jacob Adams. We've seen you running up at the front most of this race, Jake, and then got a new guy up there and maybe couldn't hold his line quite as good as some of the other guys he was around, and ultimately you went surfing there down the backstretch. Talk about your race to that point and if you are going to be able to get it fixed up and get back out there.
Yeah, right now we've got 8 minutes required, 13 minutes optional. So I mean, we'll get out there and run around for a few laps after we get it fixed. But there's 2 nights in a row we get crashed by guys wanting to turn left, going down a straightaway and not realize somebody's there. I don't know what really the 07 thought he was doing. We were running fine there. 3 lanes were working. And next thing I know, like you said, I'm surfing on top of, I think, Cam it was, and it's just on for the ride from there.
Yeah, and you're likely locked into the playoffs, so it was all about winning tonight. So what's your outlook on the rest of the season here? As we've got just a handful of races left here before the playoffs get started.
Yeah, well, I mean, the goal was to keep last week Watkins Glen. I think I finished 15th. The goal was to keep that the drop week and use this for that if I needed to. But I don't know, I just want to thank Blue Egg Marketing for coming on board, and we're going to be pulling for Jamie the rest of the race. We had a really good plan worked out there, and that caution kind of threw that out the door. So looking forward to just watching the rest of it.
All right, thanks for coming up here and talking to us, Jake, and hopefully luck turns around there next weekend. But like we said, you ran up at the front most of this race tonight, so they knew you were out there tonight.
Yeah, thanks.
I want you to look at that nose of Daniel Martinez. It's like a brand new nose, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I have a feeling that 76 is going to wish he would have followed Daniel Martinez there, because it looks like he cannot suck up to this group up here towards the front.
Yeah, Daniel Martinez looking good out there. Car all fixed up, and he is good to run. Just a quick update here. Cam Barnes was standing by in the waiting room, so I guess he won't be joining us here tonight. So forget I just said anything. As Michael Hossack, Colin Culpa, David Dunwoody, and Brandon Ultra up there in the top 4. Gavin Higgins, Josh Osborne up in the top 5 as well. So a couple new names up there.
Yeah, the guys to get their first elite win now have a shot with guys that got caught in that wreck. So
yeah, and I'll say this, Cam, if you're still watching, come on back. We'll let Matthew Weeks get an interview with Cam if he shows back up here to talk about what he saw down the backstretch.
Absolutely. We'll see if he does hop into the booth here. Let's take a look a little bit further back. We're looking at Jamie Haley working his way up through the field. That's Mark Rabilis there as well. I want to give a shout out here to the guy running in position number 8 right now. That is Randy Canedo back there in car number 33, still relatively new to iRacing, and doing a nice job keeping his car clean and working his way up through the field.
Yeah, keeping the car clean seems to be the big thing here this week through Speed Weeks here of Elite is if you can keep your car clean. The only two clean cars last night who were not involved in a wreck ended up running 1-2, so.
Absolutely.
That's the key, man. The cleaner your car is, the faster that car is gonna go.
But it's easier said than done, as both of you guys know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially on these super speedways, you can be fairly innocent running your own race. Here comes Brant Johnson very quickly to pit road. Brant, I think you're going to get a speeding penalty there, buddy, as he came down very quick. But you can be minding your own business here on these super speedways, and all of a sudden, well, you're done.
Yep. Just like last night, I fixed some damage, got back out there, and I was good. And next thing, I think 10 laps later, Ethan was in my face backwards.
Yeah, that was definitely a wild race last night. A lot of crazy incidents. Jaden Racimus, sorry, getting a little bit too high up on the racetrack there. One thing again, you kind of have to be mindful of on the super speedways is if you do slide up, you're giving an opportunity to the guys behind you to fill that hole and go through the middle. If you don't want to be 3 wide, then hold your lane and don't give them the opportunity to do that. But Trey Holmes, he's going 3 wide anyways. He's up on the high side.
Yeah, that's Trey Holmes has been a guy that's made a lot of moves tonight. Hasn't gotten all the way to the front, but we've seen him up 3 wide there, in the middle 3 wide, driving that Dale Earnhardt machine, trying to do Dale and Dale's fans proud out here tonight.
And that's the guy I trust. That's my favorite guy to work on a plate track is Trey Holmes. Me and him work so well together, and I've known him for so long. He just has a knack for it, man. He's so good.
Yeah, Trey's a very smart plate racer, makes calculated moves, and he's someone you can definitely trust out here on these plate tracks, as he's up to the outside of, I believe that to be Gavin Higgins, currently in the middle lane there. Josh Osborne all the way down on the bottom. Jake Kaner doing a nice job of blocking the middle and high lanes here, trying to stop the run. But here comes Trey Holmes with help from Michael Goodman, and Daniel Martinez trying to work his way up to the outside of the leaders.
Want to be blocking both lanes in this car like that, the middle and the outside. You got to give room, because just one little tap and everyone's wrecking.
Absolutely, as we do see a Leighton Norgard slide back on the bottom there. Of course, Norgard was caught in the earlier incident not too long ago, actually about 10 laps ago now, because these guys are ripping off the laps.
Yeah, ripping off the laps, just past halfway. We've got the 55 coming back up towards the front. Daniel Martinez pitted the second time around to fix his damage. He's back up here trying to help that second line get going, right in there behind Goody, and they're following that 3 car.
That entire top lane kind of looking for a bit of redemption after falling back early on. Trey Holmes, Michael Goodman, Daniel Martinez, Justin Fuller, and Jamie Haley, those drivers up on the high side, doing an absolutely phenomenal job. They're coming up to be side-by-side with the leader, Joshua Osborne. Osborne in his debut doing a nice job as well. Cannot discredit that, but this outside lane doing absolute magic right now.
Oh yeah, you got 2 Cup veterans leading. Another guy that's been part-time in Cup for the last couple of seasons. Just have a knack for it, man. They're good at it.
Absolutely. These guys that are up top, I would trust most of these guys here on these super speedways. I've had the chance to race with Justin Fuller before in another super speedway league where all we did was run super speedways, and he was always a front runner there. So no surprise to see him up inside this top 10 and able to make some pretty big moves here tonight, as he almost gets into the back of Daniel Martinez and he gets forced out.
Oh, there we go. The checkup has caused a wreck. The 33. We've got other cars here.
Colin Culpa, Michael Klein, Mark Rabilis, all involved.
The 31, the 93.
Cash James involved. Kendall Player involved. We are under caution. Once again, let's take a look and see what just happened. And we'll take a look at the 33 of Randy Canadle.
Randy checks up.
Randy checks up, and I'm not actually sure who that car is that just got into him. That is not the 6. That is Wayne Swart, scored his car 74. As you see all these other cars pile into the wreck. Michael Klein, Mark Rabilis, Colin Culpa. Yeah, Culpa got collected a couple times in that incident. Let's rewind this. Take a look and see what happened to the 06. Oh, he didn't even know it was coming. He gets clipped. Oh, Michael Hossack gets a piece as well. Wow, that's unfortunate. And Cash James, I think Cash James will be okay. he was able to slow down on the bottom there. But lap 45, 36 to go. It's David Dunwoody, Josh Osborne, Gavin Higgins, Trey Holmes, and Jay Kane are the top 5. Michael Goodman, Brandon Ultra, Jaden Racimus, Daniel Martinez, and Justin Fuller, the top 10. As we'll see if anyone does opt to come down pit road. If they do, this would be most likely their final pit stop of the night.
And I'll say this: Cash James, it looked like he came in there real late and just kind of ARCA braked into the wreck. Going back and looking here in the 3, Cash gets hit when he checks up by the 22.
Yeah, he slowed way down and unfortunately did get caught up in it. Looks like most of the field will come down pit road, with the exception of Joshua Osborne, Michael Goodman, Jaden Racimus, Jamie Haley, and William White.
Yep, getting you a little assurance fuel for the green-white checkers that might happen. That's what this is.
Yeah, I think the guys
Absolutely.
that pitted here are the guys who maybe didn't pit right inside the window. These guys here are the guys who went ahead and pitted right at 45 to go.
So
This
Osborne
caution should be
and
5
Racimus last pit on lap 29. So they're still kind of on that outside of that window looking in, where the rest of the field did pit on 34 or later. So might be tight for the first and third place cars here, but we are under caution number 4 here, lap 46, 35 laps to go. We're going to step away another time here, pay some more bills, and when we come back, we'll take you to the conclusion of tonight's Daytona 200 here on the Elite Racing Network.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we are back here at Daytona. It's the Daytona 200 here in the PitPassNetwork.com ARCA series. Again, PitPassNetwork.com, your home for all things motorsports, from news to reviews and interviews. Check out PitPassNetwork.com. And your leader, Joshua Osborne, alongside Michael Goodman, about to step on the loud pedal and get us back underway. Green flag is out, and here we go.
Another big start for the leader once again.
It's like these guys don't want to wait on green. They keep going a little early in the box. It's like, you don't want to do that here. Wait on that green.
Look at
He's gonna build
Jaden
another
Racimus there currently holding on to position number 2. He's working both lanes, which can be a little bit hairy when you're not fully up to speed. Some of these guys might end up checking up a little bit too much, which unfortunately we've seen cause a few wrecks here tonight. As Connor Thompson drops back on the bottom, he's going to get back in line as Jaden Racimus takes control of the race.
I just never recommend controlling the lanes with this car because the bump, you know, you go right underneath the car. Like the other cars, it's fine because you can bump drive fine and they can handle bumps. This car don't handle bumps all that great, so really don't want to do it that much.
That
One
was
lap
close
after the
right there, guys.
restart, We're Chad wide, 3 deep again. Last time we did this, we had a wreck. So let's
I
see
just
if
want to
can
point
do
out we
better.
were nearly 4 wide not too long ago as well.
Oh, they're
Ooh,
touching doors.
Jaden's pushing. He's crowding. He's crowding Trey Holmes. He's got nearly a car length between himself and William White on the bottom.
Yeah.
That middle lane
give a little
has
more.
to give more room.
got to give a little more, just a little more, not as much, just a little.
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't
not a
have
lot.
to. He can carry the steering wheel back out of the kerosene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, ooh. Guys, I'm channeling like some That's So Raven TV show vibes here. I'm having a vision. That 19's gonna go around. That's just
Trey's
getting a
sitting
little
there,
hairy
like,
right
Clear
there.
me, come on, so I can get in front of him. That's all he's thinking right now. Clear me so I can get in front of him.
Yeah, that's that crowding was getting a little bit too much there, but oh my gosh.
Wow. That 19's moving around quite a bit.
Yep, and the 21's moving around. It's a recipe for disaster right here.
Yeah, we're gonna stay up with our chopper cam, just having the overhead view. You can see as we enter the corner, Jaden Racimus on the seam there in the middle. Let's see what happens. Justin Fuller gets down behind him. Oh, a lot of movement on that 19 car. If he can stabilize, I think he's gonna have himself a good run here. But you just have to
Here we
hold
go.
your
Leader's
lane.
blocking. Leader's
Josh
gonna block.
Osborne blocking. Yeah, he's going to lose his momentum. William White going to take the lead. Trey Holmes going to work his way up on the high side now. Oh, Justin Fuller chops down.
God.
This is wild.
That block that 39 made is not working out.
He did that right before the last caution, and it made everyone check up and caused a big wreck.
Daniel Martinez now going to look for the lead here.
From pit road with damage to the lead, it's Daniel Martinez.
Oh, Brandon Ultras turned us. Oh, we've got a big wreck back here.
Uh-oh.
No caution as of yet. Are we
Wow.
going to survive?
We are under caution. Wayne Swart is the cause of that one.
I believe
Or-
that's what started with the 45 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I say Wayne Swart was the cause of... Actually, yeah, I'll stick with that statement. Wayne Swart
checked that.
into the back of the 45. I mean, he
And then
had
the 22
time.
comes
He had
in.
time to back up out of that. Hardcastle into the rear of Swart afterwards.
And he just keeps on pushing. Keep on keeping on.
I think at this
the
point,
caution comes out.
the caution's not out. The caution doesn't come out until Wayne Swart comes to a stop on the bottom of the racetrack. It's one of those unfortunate things about how iRacing operates when it comes to the cautions. Unless you're absolutely sideways on the racetrack, it's not going to bring out a caution.
And a lot of times this track is bad for it. We've seen Xfinity races, Cup races, where there's been a 10-car wreck and no caution would
Was
come
it
out
the
at all.
Daytona 500 last season where we had cars on the racetrack basically stopped and it didn't bring out a caution?
Yeah, I had to dodge an entire wreck, cars flipping, cars stuck in everything, and no caution come out. We're still green going, dude.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough. It's unfortunate, but obviously this season a little bit of changes to how we're going to administrate the races. If there's multiple cars stopped on the track, then we'll manually throw a caution, which could definitely help as we see the field deke out, I guess. The Joshua Osborne machine. Osborne pits alone. Actually, Racimus going to come down as well. Goodman. So maybe more than we thought coming down as William White, Daniel Martinez, Jamie Haley, Trey Holmes, Justin Fuller the top 5. Corey Abbott, Hunter Smith, David Dunwoody, Jay Kaner, and Gavin Higgins, the top 10. Look, just outside that top 10, it's Money Jim, Cash James there in position number 11. And I may have some insider information that that driver may have been added to the Daytona 500 lineup for tomorrow.
Now, where did the Money Jim nickname come from?
Cash, Money, Jim, James.
Okay.
Money Jim.
And I'm glad the lead changed that for the cautions, because like I said, there's been a couple of Daytona races where there should have been a caution thrown that ruined a lot of guys' races where we've had to stop and you lose so much time. You know, so I'm glad we have changed that, because we definitely needed to.
Yeah, it definitely gets frustrating, especially when you do stay green. Sometimes we do get some nice long runs, which are great, of course. But when you have the issues there where there should be a caution, everyone slows down, then you end up losing the lap. You don't end up getting it back anytime through the race, and all of a sudden you've just wasted 3 hours out there on the racetrack. Just taking a look through the field, biggest mover thus far is the aforementioned Money Jim, Cash James, currently up 20 spots, followed by Joshua Osborne. He's up 17, and Gavin Higgins 16 positions gained thus far. With just 28 to go, I think things have ramped up already, but I think they're going to step up even more, as we see from Jonathan Cutlip. Lap 51 contact between Wayne Swart and Brandon Ultra. The 74 of Wayne Swart has been issued a tally. Thank you to John Cutlip for his great work as our race controller and keeping us updated throughout tonight's event. That's another nice thing that we've added here at Elite. The direct feed between race control and the broadcast gives an opportunity for race control to push those messages across the screen and keep the viewers updated with what's going on the racetrack. Of course, with the tally system, if you get 2 tallies, that will be the end of your race. Which actually I have gotten 2 tallies in a race before, and it sucks.
That's one thing I can be proud of and say that I have never done that.
I know Chris definitely has. He's gotten 6 or 7 in a race before, right, Chris?
6 or 7 what?
Tallies?
Sorry, no, I think 2 and you're out, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're Chad. Chad's the only one who can pile up like 4 or 5 tallies.
I know Chad's watching, so I'm assuming I'm going to get a text message here shortly telling Chris to be quiet or something about Chad's tally numbers.
I know before when we used to have the EOL system when you caused the wreck, dude, I used to pride on myself in only probably getting 1 EOL the entire season. That was like my main goal. Try not to get an EOL. Try not to wreck nobody.
Yeah, that's definitely... it's tough when you get EOLs and end up having to go to the back and then work your way back up, and you've already gotten a tally, so now you're trying to be careful not to even touch anybody. I remember getting... I think it was Martinsville race one time. I ended up getting a tally and then going to the rear, and it was just scary trying to get back up without hitting anybody.
Yeah, when I got one at Auto Club when I turned Trey, I freaked out because I didn't want to get parked in the championship race if I wrecked anyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are back under green, it's William White and Daniel Martinez out front. Just behind them, it is Jamie Haley and Trey Holmes. Nice to see those teammates lined up on the high side.
Yeah, and a much better start this time. Our leader did not just drive away from the field.
Oh, as Trey Holmes has a little bit of a blink there. One guy to...
Trey working. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying Dan and Trey together again, man. You know, they always find each other, it seems.
Absolutely always finding each other. Those 2 guys up there at the front, Martinez and Holmes. Another guy to keep an eye on is Corey Abbott. Corey Abbott won the Truck Series opener last season at Daytona. He just beat out me by 2 1/1000ths of a second, so very disappointing loss there. But Corey Abbott, a very strong super speedway racer himself, so somebody to watch. He's currently running in position number 6. there's certain guys that just tend to get this style of racing more than others. It might seem easy, yeah, just hit the gas pedal, turn the steering wheel, you're fine. But there's a lot of strategy involved. There's a lot of calculating your risk factors and whatnot throughout the race and making sure you're in the right lane. So it's not as simple as it looks.
And it
It's
depends on the type of race, too.
Yep.
Some races, yeah, they're strictly luck. Some races, like we saw last night. Now, there was a little bit of skill involved, but it was 80-20 luck for the Monday night race. But there are some races where you run green for most of it, and then there is skill involved. It's skillful to get into the pits and out of the pits without, making a mistake or getting a black flag. The decisions you make, it just depends on the kind of race that it is, on if it's going to be more luck involved or more skill.
Most definitely, dude. And it's an art form, to be honest, because unlike other track, you're lifting, you're braking, hitting your marks, man. You're like playing chess the entire time. Should I make this move? Should I just sit back and wait? Oh, they're about to wreck. It's just all the time. It's just so mental.
Absolutely. And then you get into the races such as the Daytona 500, which is coming up tomorrow night here on the Elite Racing Network. 7:30, I believe we go green for that one tomorrow night. That is Eastern time. Those get even more challenging because at certain points in the race, you're going to start feeling the mental fatigue, sometimes even the physical fatigue from that as well. After sitting and staring at the screen for 2 to 3 hours, you get tired after a while, and all of a sudden just everything's a big blur.
Yeah, it don't affect me that much, but I love the Daytona 500, dude.
Absolutely.
It's probably my favorite race beside racing Darlington.
Yeah, Darlington definitely not one of my favorites, that's for sure. But Daytona is one of those races I always have circled on my map. I always tend to find myself up towards the front in the late running of those races. I like to take it easy early on, and I know Chris will be bugging me about that tomorrow, saying, hey, you got to go to the front, like when he ditched me in the duel last week. Hey, Chris?
Hey, you know what? I said, hey, let's go. And you said, oh, not yet. And I said, hey, it's go time. And it worked out for me.
Yeah, it didn't work out for me, that's for sure. I'm starting 25th tomorrow, so I got my work cut out for me, that's for sure.
And talk about going to the front tomorrow. I start 5th. I plan on trying to stay there. Not go there, stay there.
Look at Trey Holmes and Dan Martinez. Trey has his nose under the rear end of the Dan Martinez car. Now he's backed off a little bit, but you can get really close without hitting these guys and definitely push them forward. As we're coming to 21 to go, we're getting to the late portions of today's Daytona 200.
Well, you can bump draft them. You can with these cars. You just got to ease up to that bumper. Then once you get on that bumper, you can gas easily, full throttle, and you can push them.
And there shouldn't be any fuel concerns for anybody unless they just didn't put fuel in the car, which would be an accident. It wouldn't be they didn't fill it up on purpose.
For sure.
It would be some kind of accident. So everybody should be good to go on fuel to the end.
As we do see Daniel Martinez out front. Here comes William White with a push from Jamie Haley down there on the bottom. This is going to be a nice battle here between these two. As long as we do stay green, I think these guys are going to be side by side for the next 20 laps. As here we come to 20 laps to go.
It's hard to stay green in these races because towards the end, people get more itchy to get to the front.
Oh, yeah. We're about 5 to 10 laps from that time where everyone's like, oh, yeah, it is go time. We got to go. We got to step on it and work our way up to the front.
Yeah, and you start trying to not check up as much when there's checkups, and that leads to some calamity midfield. Because checkups are just part of this racing. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. You get big runs. As you see Trey Eidson trying to come up through the middle here.
Yeah, Eidson trying to look. He's looking for a bit of draft there from David Dunwoody. Looks like he's going to have it to get by Jay Kaner. But what'll matter most here is how Kaner gets back in line. Ooh, as Eidson nearly gets into the left rear of Dunwoody. That could have been our 6th caution of the day.
Going 3 wide, got Jay Kaner rolling the outside. I don't know who. I can't see the number in that all black car behind him. so I don't know who that is, but he's going to follow him, I think. And
That is Gavin Higgins behind him
Okay.
in car
On the
20.
46, going to pull out here.
Yep. Here
This
we go.
might hurt the whole top lane. This might hurt the 3, the
Oh.
80. Oh, and here we go. The 3 is going to
good.
dump the 83.
Yep. It's that time. It's race time. You want to get up there now because, as I say, if you wait too late, you're not going to make it up there and you're going to get caught in the wreck. You got to get up there sooner than later.
Oh, and that opens up the top for the 55. He's
Here
gonna try
comes
to
Justin Fuller. He's going to try to work with Daniel Martinez and work their way up to the front. As we see Cash James on the bottom, the 50 also there. That's Garrett Sidnor. They're working with that bottom lane. That middle is getting absolutely collapsed on by the David Dunwoody and Trey Holmes machines. Here comes Jake Kaner. He's going to work his way into the middle. That leaves Holmes and Dunwoody out to dry, as it looks like Martinez is going to get up in front of Holmes here. Those two get back together. Haley going to get right up to the rear of William White. Try to push that lane a bit forward here. This is going to heat up and get wild.
And now Jamie is clear. Does he move up in front of this 55? He does. He's going to move up, try to take the lead himself now.
But you want to stay in what I've learned this two cars, or in these cars, the middle is the lane. So you're just going to stay in. The guy that's going to win this race is going to be in the middle lane.
Jamie gets clear. He pulls back
That
to
was
the bottom.
close. Nearly contact between Dunwoody and Abbott in the middle of the top 10 there. That got really close.
I think Goodman got stuck in the wall and lost a lot of positions right there.
Michael Goodman back in position 20. He is all alone back there, so unfortunate for Goodman. As we see a bit of momentum up there on the high side, Dan Martinez, and now side by side with Justin Fuller. On the inside of Fuller is William White, as we keep an eye on the field just to make sure nothing crazy happens. We're going to come to 16 to go this time.
Dan was a little too high there. He needs to get a little bit lower. When you get really close to that wall, you scrub a little speed off.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you mentioned, the middle lane usually does pretty well here. The high lane, I find you get pinched off a little bit. It gets a little tight. You sometimes have to back out of it. So you can't really sustain the momentum as much as you'd like to and build up that pace. But looks like Martinez getting a nice push. Trey Holmes in the wall.
And that's the other thing, dude. The ARCA car, the wall, you hit it.
It's
They're
a
catching lap cars
magnet.
here, boys. They're catching a group of lap cars.
Oh, this is when it gets dicey.
They got 4 lap cars: Culpa, Norgard, Murphy, and I believe that's Hardcastle. Not Sandcastle, Hardcastle. Right there. Some kind of castle.
They sorted it out. Everyone went, oh, they're wrecking in the back. 31 wrecked into the wall. I don't know if it's going to bring out
That's
a caution.
Michael Klein. He's able to continue on as the field
William
continues
White
to
for the
slice and
classic
dice.
He's
Justin
White for the lead.
Fuller up top, White in the middle, Jamie Haley on the bottom. White slides up a little bit, nearly into Fuller. White's all alone in the middle.
William White might have just made the bad decision of trying to take the lead there and not getting any help.
If I'm Cash James, I might try to help him, but I think that middle lane has lost all momentum here. And William White's going to have to fall back into line.
Yeah,
I know he's
sometimes you
stepping
want
back
to
through
go.
here. Running by himself. The longer he can stay there by himself, the more help is probably going to come here.
15 now, 14 to go. Jamie Haley is your leader. Out front, it's William White, Hunter Smith, and Justin Fuller behind. Now Fuller takes the lead. He jumps to the middle. He's going to take William White and Daniel Martinez with him and leave Corey Abbott out to dry up on the high side.
That's what the 55 needed to do. That was a good move. Get down, get in front of that run.
And
That was
William
good.
White says, I'm not interested in pushing. I'm interested in leading.
Wow. Dan Martinez is going to go with
He's
William
him.
White
He's
now.
gonna push him to the lead, bro.
Trey Holmes going to go with Justin Fuller. William White going to ditch Dan Martinez, get down in front of Justin Fuller.
But
Wow.
now you know it's amped up. Now we're racing.
Oh, it's amped up. That's for darn sure. As we're going to stay high above the field here as they try to sort this out. Your leader, William White, on the outside. Jamie Haley down on the inside. Dan Martinez trying to work his way up there. Justin Fuller, Hunter Smith up there. They're 3 wide for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively, just behind the leaders.
Now, I heard Matthew say you want to be in the middle. And I think if I'm back in the pack, I don't want to be on the bottom. But if I'm up here towards the front, you know, I like the bottom because you're always going to have help. Somebody's always going to be on the bottom. You can find yourself without anybody in your lane real quick in that second or third lane.
Yeah, but I feel trapped on the bottom. You know, if you, the third cars and they're trying to get up, they're gonna go. I've won at Daytona, I've won at Dega, right in the middle in this car, and you know, in that other league, it's just, I prefer to be in that middle lane.
I think if I'm the 02 or the 54, I'm happy on the bottom. If I'm anybody else, I'm wanting to be off the bottom.
Exactly.
Absolutely. If you're down on the bottom here, you kind of trap yourself. No opportunity really to do anything unless they wreck ahead of you, which of course does quite often happen here late in the going at these super speedways.
And even the 93 might be happy where he is. We've seen him out back all night, and now he's up here third car in line. He might just be happy to try to soldier, you know, and race for a top 10 here.
Oh, I know he's got a bit of incentive if he gets a top 10 tonight, so he's hoping to get that done.
Ooh, they get really close here in the tribal. It's getting tighter and tighter. Less and less room is being given every lap.
The top, I believe, 12 or so, all under a blanket. Look at that, 3 by 3 by 3 behind the leaders. This is quite the sight as we jump up to the blimp cam here quickly. Here comes Trey Holmes and Daniel Martinez with a head of steam up on the high side. They're going to get support from Corey Abbott, and we're 3 by 3 by 3 for the lead. The top 9 all together under a blanket make that the top 10 as here comes Jay Kaner up into the mix as well. Gavin Higgins joining. We have everyone up here.
One thing I see is Michael Goodman there. He's fallen off this pack on purpose.
10 to go. And it is William White, Trey Holmes, and Jamie Haley, the top 3 here at Daytona.
Oh, they're going to wreck, and it's going to be big.
That's what Goody thinks. He's like,
I think big's an understatement here.
You just know, man, when you're in that car and you see what's going on up there, you're just like, yeah, it's coming.
100%. It is absolutely coming.
Oh.
William White dives to the inside. Barely clears himself ahead of Jamie Haley. Oh, it's getting close. Trey Holmes and Justin Fuller collapsing on each other. Josh Osborne nearly into the 93 of James.
Trying to pinch him down a little bit. Don't want him to get him that momentum, you know, get that run on the exit. If you pinch him down, it helps you more.
That 39 a little wobbly there in the middle lane. That's where it might get hairy here. Everyone together, everyone looking for their opportunity to win, and I think it's getting closer and closer to that window closing if you want to do anything here. There's Fuller in the middle. It is Holmes up top. William White with a push from Jamie Haley on the bottom.
I like that 43 and 02. We've seen them work together. I like the 83, the 3. Those are the guys we've seen be able to push up here at the front. Those 4 cars all race long. I think the 91, just based on history of the series and him and the 55, I think these guys all know how to push and what they're doing.
100%. Corey Abbott up there as well. He, like I said, he's no stranger to victory on these super speedways, so he knows how to put himself in position late in the running here at Daytona.
He nearly wrecked it. That's going to hurt the outside lane there.
We're coming up on more lap cars as well here, guys. I saw Mark Rubilis off in the distance. I believe Wyatt Canadle just ahead of him as well. Yes, we are coming up on more lap traffic. Mark Murphy heads to pit road. This is getting close, guys. 7 laps remaining for William White, Jamie Haley, Hunter Smith, Cash James, and Justin Fuller. The top 5 as they're coming up on Mark Rubilis.
Oh, the 54 is getting turned. We're going to get a caution.
There goes.
As we are under caution, Cash James, Dan Martinez, and I believe Justin Fuller, but no, that's not Fuller, that is Jake Kaner all together. They were coming up on the lap car of Mark Rubilis, and I believe there might have been some panic that set in amongst those drivers. So we take a look at the Rubilis photography replay machine. Looks like they stack up a little bit, the 93 into the 54, the 9 involved, the 83 involved. Somebody else was involved in that one as
Yeah, the 93
well.
gets the 54. Oh, the 83 is.
Yeah, Dan
That might be his
Martinez.
chance to win. The 93 is surfing too. He surfed just like
Dan's
RJ.
missing his right front tire.
Yeah.
So Martinez,
And
done.
that's out of
Wow.
another big wreck. Another car on top of the car.
So we're going to be probably about 3 laps remaining when we go green again. It is Jamie Haley, Justin Fuller, William White, Trey Eidson, Brandon Ultra, the top 5. Josh Osborne, Trey Holmes, David Dunwoody, Corey Abbott, and Garrett Sidnor, the top 10.
Oh, the 3 was involved in that wreck too. It looks like.
Yeah.
Looks
Taking
like
a
good
look.
damage for the 3 right there as well.
Taking a look at the... Oh, he's pushing. Oh, Trey
fix
Holmes'
it.
wheels are all knocked out of place.
Yep.
That is not the sight Trey Holmes wanted to see, that's for sure.
Go in, fix as much as you can, and hopefully you got some power in there and go out there and try it again.
But the O2 got through this. I believe the 55 is clean.
Holmes
The
does come to pit road.
43, The 91, the 45s picked up some more damage.
Ultra's going to stay out. Trey Holmes, Corey Abbott, Kendall Noah player, Hunter Smith all coming down pit road. So that'll move Garrett Sidnor and Michael Goodman further up into the top 10.
Yeah, Goody paid off there with his decision.
I don't know how good his decision's going to be now once we go green again. Because
Well, there's no decision now. It's go time. You can't ride
it's
around
go
that.
time for sure. 100%. As we do see Colin Culpa getting the lucky dog in his number 06 Apollo Motorsports machine.
And if I was Goodman, like in that position, I would have backed off too and like wait for the big wreck, because I do it in races too. Okay, the wreck's coming, the wreck happened. After that, it's go time. You're on it now because there's not that many cars left and you're closer to the front.
As we see, contact between Cash James and Hunter Smith has been ruled a racing incident on lap 74. Want to give a shout out to one of our buddies viewing tonight's race at home, Jake Finch. Hello to Jake. Hopefully you're enjoying the race, and maybe your buddy Cash James will work his way forward. We'll see.
I don't know. I think Cash James there in that Pit Pass Network car has got some work to do, especially after being involved in that last wreck.
He is on the racetrack. He did come down pit road. Now he's back out front. His front end's a little jacked up, but see what he can do.
I just wish he would have lifted a little more. Knowing them lap cars were coming, I would have lifted in that situation just to get by the lap cars and not, it's just a bad situation right there.
And he actually just sent me a message asking if it was his fault. So.
And I agree with you, Matthew. I think, with the Cup race tomorrow, maybe we lift a little bit there, give it a little extra room, catching a group of lap cars. But these guys, they don't have a whole lot of experience catching lap cars and know how it's going to work the draft and how it's going to change the draft and how the lanes are going to have to maneuver around them. So,
yeah, that's exactly
learning
it.
for next time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is just give a little tips, as a driver. I don't do this broadcast thing. It's my second time ever. Just giving little tips on what I would have done in that situation,
Absolutely, and those drivers coming back to review this will definitely appreciate that information.
I think we got Daniel ready for an interview. Matthew, you want to interview Daniel?
Well, I
He
could try.
was your race pick, so.
That he was.
As
Well,
he has
Dan,
joined us up in the booth.
You was running good, man. I did pick you to win, so I feel bad that I jinxed you because I did that and you got caught in 2 wrecks. But you're running good right there, man. So you could you have done anything different to avoid that?
No, there was no chance. Me and Trey had pretty much committed to just sending it around the top and either bring home the checkered flag or take home the wheel. And unfortunately, we got the latter.
Yeah, I knew y'all showed up just try to race for a win, man. But other than that, y'all look strong tonight working together. Y'all really, as it would say, y'all are good friends, as I know, working great. But how did your race go besides the 2 wrecks? How was you feeling out there?
I was personally feeling really good. It was these cars are tricky, but still pretty fun to drive and bump draft with. And that's kind of why I lean more towards working with Trey. Is me and him really know how to work with each other in these cars, and some other people were a little bit more cautious than we would have preferred. But overall, other than obviously the two wrecks, the race was pretty fun.
Well, that's good to hear, man. I'm glad you had fun. Hopefully, I see you back in the ARCA car, man. I enjoy watching you get some track time because I know you don't race as much as you used to or like to and stuff. So glad to see you out there. Any shout outs you like to give out?
As always, thanks to my mom and grandfather for always watching whenever I do one of these races for Elite. Thank you guys for broadcasting it and giving them something to watch it on. And yeah, thank all the sponsors that allow this stuff to happen.
All right, man. Well, it sucks that your race ended like that because, like I said, I wanted you to win tonight, man.
Yeah, it's all your fault, but thanks.
I'm sorry. As we have another wreck.
Yeah, later, guys.
Later, man.
That was Daniel Martinez, unfortunately, out of this one, as we did have a caution there.
A 24. 24 gets turned by the 54.
20. We're trying to load the replay. I just wanted to break a little bit there.
I think the 54 decided he was going to try to go through the middle of 3 wide.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. 24 was on the high side. Hunter Smith dove through the middle and ended up taking out both Michael Hosick and the 76 of Michael Klein. So both of those drivers caught up in a bit of a mess there.
In my opinion, there's no room to make that move just yet, and there really wasn't really that much to go 3 wide there. I mean, but knowing Hunter Smith, I've seen him make some 3 wide moves last night like that, so you just got to note to yourself, like, this guy is going to do this whenever, so you just got to remember it.
Absolutely. Not sure where Justin Fuller's going.
And one thing that happened there on that restart is Jamie Haley went from first to third. His help was not ready to go. I'm not sure he took off early.
Where's the pace car at, guys?
And William White just was not ready to go at all there on that last restart, and that's going to hurt. William lost a spot. Jamie lost a couple.
Yeah, he was taking a nap. Looked like me restarting out there.
Yeah, I kind of thought initially, man, Jamie must have took off real early, but then I just went and looked. It was late, right up in the green. Like you said, Matthew, earlier, right? You want to take off at the green here. Unless you've got to deal with the third place guy where you kind of know, hey, we're taking off at this point.
Yeah, or unless you get a guy outside and you're like, hey, I'm going to go a little early. That way when I cross the line, I'm going to jump up in front of you. Or vice versa, you get outside and jump a little early, drop down.
So
Because I've even done that. It's even some guys I'm not teammates with, I'm like, hey, I'm going to start a little early. Let me drop down and we can work together here,
So coming to this green-white checkered attempt, 2 of our 3 picks are out of the event, which definitely does not... Actually, only one of our Michaels is out. Never mind. So Martinez out of the race. Hosick still in 18th. Goodman still in position number 10. As we see an update from race control, contact between Hunter Smith and Michael Hosick. Hunter Smith ruled at fault, so a tally has been issued.
And I think I agree with that call.
100%. It was just too
Absolutely.
early to try to make that move, and there really wasn't.
There just wasn't the
room.
space.
Yeah. Now,
And
there
look,
was the space.
I got something to say here for you, Matthew.
Yeah.
I see a tweet right here that was just posted. You're one of 7 drivers to have started all Elite 500s.
Yeah. I'm surprised by that, to be honest. I didn't think that. But I'm glad to win one of these things. Win one of those, man.
Man, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I've DNQ'd for one of those 500s. I think Chris has too.
Well, I ended up getting in as an alternate. I did end up getting the race.
Oh, you got one of them pity spots.
I don't remember the first one I did. I don't know if there was charters. I don't think there was a lot of people that done it. But after that, we got charters. I mean, I've been racing Elite for since 2019, I think. So I've been here
You've
for
been
a
around.
while.
You've been around. You got some gray hairs here at Elite.
I'm getting old, man. Yeah.
You're not that old. I mean, I think Chad's much older. Chad's the
And
old
you
man
might
here.
you might think 8 sounds like a lot. 8 being 8 years. It's only 4 years. We run these twice a year, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
But I love it. Like, I know I complain this season because I get I get caught in bad luck a lot, and I put myself in bad spots and get caught in wreck, and I complain. But I love racing elite, dude. I hate the off season. It bugs me because it's like my main league, and I'm sitting there like, oh, because I love to race, so I get the itch. I'm just glad it's back.
And there's been a push lately, maybe to only do 1 500 a year, 1 Southern 500 a year, instead of doing 2 a year. Where do you guys stand on that, both of you as drivers? I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
I think we should do the Daytona 500 once a year and the Southern 500 once a year. I agree with that because it's so, it's a big race. Like that 500, it's so big, and doing it twice a year, it takes a little bit out of it.
Yeah, I definitely think we should do 1 a year just to keep the prestige of it. It's a very prestigious event when it comes to the Daytona 500. It means a lot, and having them twice a year kind of takes away from it a little bit. Same with the Indianapolis 500. Running 2 of those in a year can take a little bit away from winning it because you got 2 shots a year. When you're the only person to win it in a calendar year, that's pretty awesome.
Like I was saying earlier, if we want to start the B season with the plate track, just put Dega right there. We can start with Dega. We can do it, but have Daytona 500 once a year in February when we start the A season.
Yeah,
That's
now
right. You did say that earlier. I forgot about that.
I have another
Yeah.
question for you guys here. This is the first of a possible 3 green, white, checkered attempts. Is this the only one we will use in this race?
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
For
Chad.
the
If you're
benefit of
listening.
going against Matthew, I'll say yes. We'll split the difference.
I'm sorry, Chad, if you're listening, but we're elite, dude. We like to use all 3.
As we are about to go green, it's Justin Fuller up top with help from William White down below. It is Trey Eidson and Jamie Haley as they get on the loud pedal. We're back under green with 2
And I'll tell you
laps
what
to
just
go.
happened there. The 55 and 91 tried to cut a deal. Jamie Haley started pushing on that 91 and said, no deal here.
Yep.
Yeah, they're cutting, and Jamie wanted to cut them right out of it.
And
Yeah.
sitting on that front row, you're like, please get to the white so we can race.
Absolutely. As we're going to drop a little bit further back in this group just to keep an eye on things. Justin Fuller getting a big push there by William White up on the high side. Gavin Higgins going to jump up, give them a bit of extra support as we come into turn number 3. Let's see if we can make it back to the line. If we do, then the next flag will end the race if this one is white. Hunter Smith on pit road
And
as I
Jamie
get a
Haley's going to
notice
pull out
there.
here as we're coming to the white flag. Jamie
Here
Haley
comes
pulls out.
Jamie Haley.
Well, they proved me wrong. We actually gonna finish. Okay.
Haley up top, Fuller behind him. Here comes William White. As Jamie Haley gets pushed down to the bottom, now he's going to get help from Trey Eidson. Josh Osborne gets a little bit wiggly there. That kind of screws the momentum of that high lane as Eidson looks to the high side. Jamie Haley looks like he's going to be all alone as Justin Fuller finds his friend in Eidson as Osborne.
39 goes below the
Osborne
line.
goes
You
below
can't
the
do that.
line. That is
You
not
can't do
something you
that.
can do as they're
Nope.
going to wreck behind the
And then he wrecks
leaders.
everybody.
Yeah, that 39, I think.
The entire field's going to wreck out as Trey Eidson and Justin
Wow.
Fuller are going to battle
Is he
to
gonna get
the
him?
line.
Is he gonna get him? Oh,
It's Fuller
Oh,
by
what a
2
win.
1,000ths of a second over Trey Eidson, and Connor Thompson comes home third. Randy Canadle in fourth, guys, and Gavin Higgins in fifth. Rounding out the top 10, Colin Culpa, Corey Abbott, Michael Hosick, Mark Rabilis, and Jaden Racimus. The top 10. It's Justin Fuller making it back-to-back debut victories here in the Elite Racing Network Pit Pass Network ARCA Series after Kean Raleigh took the win last week at Watkins Glen. So we're going to get a chance to talk to 3 new drivers here tonight for the first
Thought he
time
was out
ever.
of it.
Wow.
After that wreck happened, I thought the 91 had it. Crazy.
That wreck didn't need to happen whatsoever. It was a move that shouldn't have happened and wouldn't happen if it was our joinaps.com Cup Series. As we watch Justin Fuller burn it down, he's going to celebrate his debut victory here in the Pit Pass Network ARCA Series.
I just wonder if he didn't know there was a rule. I mean, I know it's that Josh Osborne's first race in the league, so I just wonder if he just didn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anybody who does this, I feel like watches NASCAR and kind of
Yeah.
that's a pretty
It's a driver's
basic
code
rule.
on
Yeah.
racing. It's a driver's code not to do that, man. So
So
you should already know that.
as we wait for the podium finishers, we do have Jamie Haley. Oh,
What is Harry doing? I'm sorry.
what in the world? Why was he even out on the racetrack, man?
I don't know.
This is not good for Harry. He's already suspended.
80 laps down, and you're out there just driving when the race is over. At least the race was over. I mean,
Like,
if it was going on, that would be a problem.
He came
even
back
worse.
down with the sole intentions of doing that. I don't understand. As we wait for the podium finishers, Jamie Haley standing by in the waiting room. Why don't we go ahead and bring him in, get a bit of raw emotion out of the driver of the 02. Jamie Haley, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to hand you over to Chris Wright and Matthew Weeks for a bit of an interview here with you.
Well, we typically only interview the top 3, but Jamie, you were looking pretty good there, and a move was made that I think a driver is going to get punished for. But take us through your night there, and ultimately, what happened and what you were thinking there down the backstretch.
Well, the night was great. Started off real well. Me and Jake Adams were kind of running the field there for the first half, working together and keeping the pack behind us. And I had to pit and got back in the field, but I kind of shot out of a cannon and got back up in the top 10 like really quick. I knew I had a good ride all night and got back up towards the front, and Nick Massey was on the pit box for me, spotting and calling my pit calls, and he got me back up front. And I don't want to say dominant, but I felt really strong up there and was able to kind of leapfrog back and forth between first and at the end there. I don't know. I felt kind of teamed up on. I saw 2 Dodges in front of me. I reckon they were teammates. So I know I had my work cut out for me, but got back up to the front on the white flag, and then I'm protecting the bottom, and the next thing I know, someone shoots underneath me below the yellow line, and I'm like, whoa, what am I supposed to do here? And got to the corner, and it just all mayhem broke loose.
Yeah, and here we are at the end of this thing, and you had a good run. You're new to the league, so what's your outlook on the rest of the season, and you expect to carry this over to some other tracks outside of some of these plate races?
Well, I had this one circled. I'm always pretty strong at plate races. I'm really good with the draft. So definitely, Talladega is another one on my list that I've got circled and ready to go to. But these intermediates, I did pretty good at Kansas, or was it Las Vegas? I can't remember. Did pretty good there. So hopefully some decent finishes there, maybe some top 5s. Looking for it, and we'll just have to see how the rest of the season turns out. But I'm having a lot of fun. Just wish I would at least got maybe a top 5 today out of as much as I tried, but just got tangled up in a mess at the very end. That last caution kind of messed me up. I took the start, and the 20, I think it was the 23 behind me, didn't get a good start, so I started to back up to him, and then the caution was thrown for a wreck in the back, which put me 3rd. So that kind of screwed me up. But I think I made the right moves to pull it back out and have a shot for the win again. Just get caught up in another wreck, which is a move. If the person gets penalized, it is what it is. But I mean, I thought it was wrong, so we'll just see how it goes.
Well, all right, Jamie, congrats on your run tonight. Kind of a coming out party for you this week. You ran good last night, ran good tonight. Are there any sponsors you want to thank or shout out you want to give before we let you jump out of here?
Got to shout out iBuyPower. They've been with me since I started league racing on iRacing many years ago. So big shout out to them for staying with me for so long, and hopefully I can bring them along with me to other rides. I'm looking for a team in the future. Right now I'm just running for myself, so we'll have to see hopefully what happens.
Well, all right, thanks for coming up here and talking to us, Jamie, and hopefully it goes a little better for you next week. They're just at the finish.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
As we go ahead and bring in Trey Eidson, the runner-up here tonight. Connor Thompson was here, but looks like he stepped away. So we'll bring in Trey Eidson, our runner-up here tonight, standing by with Chris and Matthew.
All right, we are now joined by Trey Eidson. You finished second tonight. We saw you at the front. We saw you go to the back. Saw you in a few little incidents there. Take us through your night and ultimately anything you think you could have done different to win the race tonight.
I mean, you kind of summed it up there. I was kind of all over the place. 2 or 3 fender benders. I don't really know. I didn't coming off 4. I didn't feel like Fuller was going to get that much of a run. I don't know. You start throwing blocks, but then you probably get turned. So when it's 1v1, I don't really know unless I just hang a right, run him into the fence, and then see who gets there first. But we're teammates, so I probably wouldn't ever take it that extreme.
All right, Trey, congrats on your run. I will hand you off to Matthew Weeks here for the rest of the interview.
How was it coming from the? I know you pitted earlier. How was it driving from the back to the front?
It was fun. You know, you get kind of everybody starts checking up, and you feel like a hero when you're flying by everyone like 20 miles an hour faster. That part's kind of fun. Right there, the last 20 laps was a little nail biting. You know, you're right there. I was in the middle the whole time, and we were 3 wide. Some of the guys on the top, it's like they're scared of the wall, so they're pinching the middle, and then some guys on the bottom forget we're 3, so they're just not. They don't really leave you a lot. So just trying to watch everyone and make sure you're not the one that kills the evening for everyone. So kind of had 3 straight nights at Daytona, so I'm over Daytona, so you guys can enjoy your cup race tomorrow. But yeah, I survived. I didn't survive the truck race, but I made it out last night all right, and tonight all right. So 2 of 3 ain't too bad.
You almost got it done, man. I didn't think he was going to get you, to be honest. I thought you had it right there. That was insane, but good run, good P2, man. And any shout-outs you'd like to give?
No, it's you kind of touched on it. I feel like I'm like jinxed in this league. I haven't really run anything full time. I make like sporadic starts here and there. There's been probably 5 races where I feel like I've had it in the bag and something happens. So I'll get an elite win one day or the other, I hope. But nope, just thanks to you guys and all the league sponsors and all the admins and broadcasters and everybody that puts effort into it.
Yeah, man, it's bound to come. You running good like that, it will come.
I appreciate it, guys. Hopefully if I keep putting myself in position, I'll get to talk to you guys more.
Yeah, man. Well, you have a good night.
All right, appreciate it. Y'all too.
That was Trey Eidson, our runner-up tonight. Looks like Connor Thompson is back, so we'll go ahead and pull him in for a discussion about his third-place run. Hey, Connor Thompson, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
A big third-place run here for you tonight. Started back in 13th, worked your way up to the podium. Why don't you walk us through what you saw there, especially on that last lap?
I just kind of rode in the back the whole time, and just that last lap, I saw a car go below the yellow, and I knew everybody was screwed with a wreck. So I just kind of pedaled to the floor and kept going.
Absolutely. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Do you think maybe there was a point in this race where you could have done something a little bit differently that would have given you an opportunity to get up there and make a run towards that victory? Or do you think maybe you kind of got lucky with that podium?
I think, Sunday and last night, this is my 3rd top 10 in the last 3 days.
Absolutely.
I just kind of like to ride in the back, and then at the end, I like to kind of try to attack and go in there and try to keep the car clean. I didn't have any damage or anything, so my first contact was that wreck coming to the line.
And we had a discussion today. You sent a message at 1:56 p.m. You said top 10 in trucks and Xfinity so far. Daytona top 10 tonight, and I'll consider it a successful Speed Weeks. Is it a successful Speed Weeks, Connor?
Oh yeah, I didn't end up upside down, so it's good.
Absolutely. I'm going to hand you over to Chris Wright and Matthew Weeks, see if they've got any questions here for you. But congratulations on a great finish here tonight.
Thank you.
I really don't have any questions for you tonight, Connor. Congrats on the run, the top three. Hopefully, you can do enough here moving forward and maybe have a shot to win some of these races. So, just congrats on the run, and I'll pass you straight off to Matthew.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question for you. It's just for that last wreck, man. You put yourself in a good spot. What was you thinking when you seen that car coming down and you're sitting there? Wait, and you seen that red car go underneath the yellow line, and then the car come down on you while you're ripping you're right on the line. What would you think it was going on there?
I think it's kind of just a Days of Thunder moment. You just close your eyes and hope you end up on the other side.
Yeah, that was crazy, dude. You come out with a top three finish, which is good here. That's good points day. Um, any thoughts to the race and how these guys were racing?
It was better today than yesterday. Xfinity was pretty tough, but it was good. I've never raced ARCA at Daytona in my life, so that was kind of learning the car. And then, the first two races of the season, I think I was like 33rd or 34th in points. So I'm just trying to get top tens, and I think this is 2 out of 3 races top 10 in ARCA. So just trying to get better and learn.
That's the way to do it, man. Just knocking out solid finishes. That's how you do it for real. Well, good finish tonight. Good run. Way to get through that last track, dude. That was insane. Any shout outs you want to give?
Thank you to Jared for helping me with my paint schemes and stuff. I'm kind of inept when it comes to games and PC stuff, so I'm kind of new to all this.
All right, man. Well, good race tonight. You have yourself a wonderful night, and catch you next week.
Y'all too. Thank you.
That was Connor Thompson, our third place finisher tonight. And finally, let's wrap it up with our winner, Justin Fuller. Hey, Justin Fuller, you got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Now, Fuller, I was looking back here on Sim Racer Hub, and about 10 years ago, I can't believe it's been 10 years, I was racing against you in a league called Vidane, and we were racing some super speedways. And tonight, of course, come out here, you pick up a super speedway win. What is it about these super speedways that you always seem to be a front runner at?
I think that's just being a mixture of being aggressive and smooth, and putting your car on the right spot at the right time, and being able to make the move before you actually think about doing it.
Now, walk us through that late race restart. Looked like potentially yourself and Trey Idson may have had some sort of a deal there. Looked like he was going to try to let you down, but he ended up getting a push. Was there some sort of deal behind the scenes between the two of you to work together?
I don't like being pinned on the bottom, so I made sure that the rule allowed us to have lane change, and I preferred to be in the middle. Other than that, there was really no deal. Obviously, we were teammates, so we would have worked together at any point in time if it was possible. But at that point in time, we were racing straight up.
Absolutely. And looking ahead to the rest of the season here in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series, can we expect to see you out here more often, or was this more of a one-off for you here at Daytona?
I think we're gonna show up more. I had fun tonight. A little bit more cautions than I think anyone probably would have liked, but I'm sure we'll go to another track and that'll clean up a little bit. I'm running the truck series full time on Sunday nights. Trey got me involved over here, and I really like some of the scheduling that they got going. So, really looking forward to that and running some more of this. I probably won't run every week on Tuesday nights for sure, but there's a couple tracks that stand out for sure that I'm gonna want to try and run.
Absolutely. Yeah, you mentioned a bit more cautions than we would have liked. I think this was by far the most cautions we've had here in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series. Typically average between 1 and 2 per night, so definitely not a fan of 8 or 9 that we had here tonight, but definitely look forward to seeing you back on the track here in the near future. I'm going to hand you over to Chris Wright and Matthew Weeks and see if they have any questions for you.
Well, congrats on the win, Justin. You were one of the cars that kind of fell back and came forward and fell back and came forward, but we saw you a few times up there by yourself. Now, were you trying to take the lead up there by yourself? Were you trying to see how far you could go by yourself, or were you just looking to get back to the front and see if you could get some help up there?
I was just trying to figure out, what would work, what wouldn't work, because I don't run this ARCA car very often, and I didn't know if the top line would actually work, and I hadn't seen anybody do it. I actually hit the wall one time trying to do it because I thought I got squeezed up a little bit too much, but we just stuck it up there, and I mean it rolled. I mean, but everybody was checking up because they're afraid to push with this car, so it was pretty easy to move forward, but it kind of stalled out when I got to the front couple rows. So I'm not. I'm patient to a point at these tracks, especially if I'm points racing. But really, I'm not really in this for the points, right? So I'm here to win. So I didn't want to be too patient, but I also didn't want to be the reason to cause a wreck. So I pushed up there, and then I was like, you know what? I guess I don't need to be the only one up here running 3 wide. So I dropped to the back, and then I wanted to see how fast I get back to the front, and so I was just trying to play with it and see how fast we can get to the front and what the car would drive like through the field.
All right, Justin, congrats on the win. Hopefully you can keep it rolling here. I'll hand you off to Matthew Weeks, see what he's got for you.
Did you think you was gonna get him coming to the checkered?
I mean, so we actually have another teammate in Discord with us, and he was watching the race, and I had no idea the 39 had gone below the yellow. So I almost turned myself off the 39 because I thought I cleared the O2. I thought I was sure as hell I would be cleared to the bottom, and I wasn't. So it's a good thing he called that out. I've been wrecked. Did I think I was going to get to him? I mean, once I saw the run building, probably exit of 4, I thought I would at least get side by side with him. And I do think there's a small amount of side draft with these cars, and I think that's honestly what ended up helping. But once we got side by side, I was honestly surprised he didn't try to throw a block. We were so clear he could have thrown a couple blocks, but Trey and I were really good friends and been teammates for years, and we race each other with a lot of respect, and we have a lot of fun together. So I'm sure it might hurt him a little bit that I got to win at elite before him, but that was fun coming to the line.
Yeah, that was good. That had me stand up out of my seat, man. For it being my second broadcasting booth, y'all made it exciting.
Well, I'm glad we could make it exciting for you right there at the end.
But what'd you think of the race, racing all these guys? I mean, I know he probably hinted at the question, but a lot of these guys, it's the development series, so some of these guys are new. So, I mean, how did you feel racing a lot of these guys?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm new to these guys too, right? I mean, this is only I think I had one start at this league prior to Sunday night with the truck series, and that was a dirt race. So, with the dirt modifieds, I don't know if you guys run dirt over here anymore or not. I have no idea, but I ran a dirt modified race. I was going through the sim racer hub, and I noticed that, and I was like, oh, I do have a start over here. But other than that, I'm new to these guys too. So they're other than Trey, I didn't notice a single name in this entire race. So I was learning them, they were learning me. So but I had a lot of fun tonight. It seemed like obviously it's a development series. There was some guys out there that didn't hold their line all that great. But again, it's an ARCA series, a development series. That's where you come to learn, right? So, but I had a lot of fun tonight. It's all, and at the end of the day, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, man, exactly. As long as everyone has a good time, that's all that matters, dude. Well, I'm glad y'all put on a good show. We usually don't have a lot of cautions like that, like Robert said, but man, good win. Congratulations. Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, thanks to you guys for putting on the series, or thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to Pit Pass Network for sponsoring the series. Thanks to everybody that watched. Thanks to everybody in the race. I'll go back and watch this broadcast tomorrow at work if I got some downtime. Skim through it, check it out. It's usually what I do. So thanks to Trey for painting my car. Trey is one of the best painters, really underrated on iRacing, and this was a last-minute deal for me to race tonight. So I asked him what he had for ARCA cars, and he kind of gave me a canvas of cars that he had, and I picked this one, and he threw my number on there for me, and off we went. So thanks to him for that, and then I repaid the favor by beating him to the line.
Yeah, well, y'all put on a show. I hopefully see you back. I heard you racing trucks full time, so I'll be watching that. So, man, good luck in that series, and hopefully see you back soon.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
You too.
Guys, that was Justin Fuller, your winner here tonight. And just before we do step away for the evening, I want to touch on the points a little bit here, guys. Jacob Adams leads by 5 points over Michael Hosick, 9 over Hunter Smith, 10 over Leighton Norgard, 14 over Ray Bracey. That's the top 5. He's 15 over Wyatt Canadle, 16 over both Colin Culpa and William White, 18 over Corey Abbott, and 25 over David Dunwoody. So the top 10 only separated by 25 points. The top 5 only by 14. That is absolutely incredible. And another stat I want to point out here, we are 5 races into the season. We have had 5 different pole sitters and 5 different winners. And we are now at 30 drivers to have a top 10 here in the first 5 races. That is absolutely incredible. And of course, only 3 races left in the regular season before we kick off our 4-race playoff in just about a month or so. So what an incredible night, and what an incredible stage we're setting up here heading into the final stretch of the regular season.
Yeah, it's been a great season. It's been a competitive season, like you just mentioned there with all those numbers. But speaking more about the speed weeks, we've had the truck race. I had a lot of green flag racing, a couple cautions early, a couple cautions late. We had the Xfinity race, which was something like you'd see out at the local fair when they have Derby night. And then tonight, you kind of got a mixture of both. We didn't get a green flag stop, but we did have long stretches of 20, 25 laps in a row a couple different times. So setting up for tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see. One of the dual races the other night was crazy, and one was a little bit cleaner. So I'm hoping tomorrow's race, we get to run 500 miles without a caution. I'm hoping that it's clean, that it's fun, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. If anybody goes below the yellow line to pass me, I'm right hooking them. They are not going to get back clear in front of me if you're going to go down on the apron to pass me.
Well, thanks for putting it all on the line.
I'm going to side draft if you try that. You ain't coming back on the track try past me. But yeah, all the 500s I've been in, we usually do have a green flag stop, so I do see us having a good long run tomorrow, especially with a lot of guys in there. People are going to be waiting towards the end, so I can see it being a good race. Usually does end up going good than bad sometime. You never know.
Absolutely. And before we head off for the evening, Matthew, of course, thank you for joining us tonight. Any final thoughts from you?
Thank you for having me. I mean, I probably messed up a little. I'm new to this. It's strange, nervous talking in front of people who's watching too, but it's fun. I have a blast up here. It's cool. I kind of see what the drivers do in real life when they watch the race from the broadcast booth in the Xfinity race. You kind of see things, see more, and it gives you a different perspective on how things happen in the race. So I enjoyed it. I had fun.
Absolutely, and we loved having you up here. Chris, why don't you give us your final thoughts here, my friend?
Yeah, just the same thing as Matthew. Like, when you're watching these things, Matthew, you see moves being made, and you're like, why would they do that? That was stupid. What is this guy thinking? And then you're in the car, and you see what, you just see the couple cars around you, and you make the same boneheaded move sometimes, and you see a lot more, and you might think about it a little more, kind of understand, it's like having a spotter. Having a spotter is so beneficial at some of these plate tracks that, you can kind of see and understand more. It kind of paints a canvas for you, where when you're racing without a spotter, you can just see that little bit around you. Whereas if you have a spotter, he can tell you, hey, there's momentum coming, 20 spots back, or midway in the pack, it looks like this is working, or they're doing this, or a lot of things can be learned from watching, a full broadcast, and of course having a spotter. So just a lot of great racing. Hopefully, like I said, looking forward to tomorrow, Daytona 500 on the mind. Hopefully it's a good race. It's a fun race, and hopefully we're all running at the end. Seem to have trouble getting everybody to the end, so hopefully we get all cars to the end tomorrow.
Absolutely. Tonight was a good race, aside from all the cautions that we had. That, of course, a downside to super speedway racing sometime, but Justin Fuller, Trey Eidson, and Connor Thompson all did a great job getting their podium finishes. Again, I want to give another shout out to Randy Canado finishing 4th. I think that's probably about 25 positions higher than he would have expected coming into tonight. So for Randy to finish in position number 4, that's pretty outstanding. I also want to point out that my race pick was the highest out of the 3 of us. Actually, he's probably the only one to finish. Michael Hosick in position number 8. And I do want to give a shout out to Jonathan Cutlip, our race controller. It's never easy calling races like this that do have a lot of cautions and trying to be fair to everyone out in the field. And I think John's one of the best that we have here for sure. We have a great group of admins in Elite, but John Cutlip always does a great job. I want to say thank you to David Huckleberry for all of his work that he does for us behind the scenes to help us run these broadcasts. I want to thank Chad Frankenfield for all the work that he does here at Elite. I want to thank Wyatt Canadal and Josh Personette. They both play a big part in this Pit Pass Network ARCA series as well. Of course, Cash James and PitPassNetwork.com for supporting the series. Our premier partners here in Elite, TA Services, Worldwide Technology Raceway, Blue Egg Marketing, as well as our series sponsors, Join APS, as well as Stay Tuned Esports. Mark Rabilis of Mark Rabilis Photography. We used his replay machine so many times tonight. But most of all, I want to thank every one of you watching at home. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us about 2 hours of your evening watching these guys go at it here at the virtual Daytona International Speedway. If you got some more hours to give, tune in tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Elite Racing Network for the Daytona 500. It'll be David Hunkleberry and Alexander Ned on that call. But for now, my name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight was Chris Wright and Matthew Weeks, and we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.